And welcome to the Thunderbird Cup, Lamont, Illinois, and Chicago Blaze Stadium. My name is Lance Kavanaugh. I am joined in the booth by Angela Smarto, and we have an absolute exciting match for you to get today. Chicago Area Rugby Football Union versus Minnesota Union. And we'll go over the rosters 1 second. I'll bring Smarto in. Kicking us off and the props is Verdun Bassett at hooker and Hofferman as the secondary prop. McZeck and Driscoll as your locks. Lux, Deborah, Dennis, and Vasquez on your back row. To take care of the backs is Haynes at 9, going to Corley at 10. Williams and Beverly as your wingers. Peterson and Ancherson will be your centers, and Flanagan to take care of things at fullback. Smarto, Minnesota rosters next.
Yeah, so here are all your men from up north. We've got the front row, Hernandez, Gladowski, and Hoisington. Locking it up, you've got Platka and Matke, and a big back row with Neaton, Martin, and San Lupunga at 8. We're going to kick it then with our 8, 9, 10 connection will be huge. They're all from Metro, so that'll help them out quite a bit. So you've got 9 with Beelman to Hillman at 10. And then your 2 wingers and your fullback will be Ramirez, Mate, and Feitik. Be very, very watching out for them, as they are all dangerous with Chikowski and Mate in the centers. It's going to be fun. This looks like a typo.
And this is going to be one of those matches in the Thunderbird Cup. You expect fireworks. Chicago area side not having to take too long of a trip. So many of the guys more local than not. So being able to give them a moment to represent and play where they are is definitely a big step. Minnesota coming in, having to showcase against more of the home side. And Smarto, in these matches, so many things to expect and anticipate. How do you think this match will go?
I'm excited. Just looking over the rosters, you can see there's a lot of great club representation for both sides. So from the Minnesota, like I said, you've got 8, 9, 10, and flanker all from Metro. So especially in the set piece, that'll be a great place for connection. But on the CARFU side, you've got more of a mix. But, don't confuse the Chicago Rugby Club with the Chicago Lions Club or the Chicago Riot or any of these other Chicago clubs. But they're all still familiar with each other. These guys play against each other and with each other all the time. So I think it's going to be really exciting. CARFU does have a little bit of like a home field advantage here, since, they're in their own place. But, Minnesota did not come all this way to not show what they could do. So I don't think they care if they're on the road or not. They definitely want to win.
Absolutely. They're definitely going to try to bring the noise. And here we are as this game is about to get underway. I'm very excited to see how this match will conclude. Both teams poised and ready. Minnesota into your purple. You have Chicago area. We'll just refer to them as Chicago. Will be in the white with the red stars. And we are underway. Corley puts the ball in the air, and we are going to get right to the action. Kicking it to a prop. Hernandez charges right into the heart of the Chicago area side. Big collision follows up, and it looks like they're going to use the forward pods really strongly in the middle of the field as players are being dragged and carried throughout. And we're starting to see some of that physicality come into effect here. Minnesota setting themselves up, playing with a little bit of space out the back, going wide, and a big collision on the other side. Beverly runs into a brick wall and cannot make the tackle as Minnesota continues to stretch forward. But Chicago able to resource and get the ball back. What an amazing steal on that edge. Now Chicago, now it's their first crack at the apple.
Yeah, already got some big hits here. Only have a minute here underway. Got the turnover. Looks like we'll be kicking it and staying in play. No touch today.
As that ball stays open, they go to an up and under. Real Williams Chicago area guy's been playing for quite a while since the ball in the middle of the field. And immediately plunging over by Minnesota, but unable to keep his feet. And that counter ruck is beautiful. Referee says play on. Didn't have anyone available to protect the scrum half. He took a slacking as they go from the kick, immediately recovered back. Now able to go to the bottom of your screen here. Free check, taking that right foot step, getting the offload to Gladowski. He's dragged down by some of these Chicago players. The speed in which Minnesota is playing with might be one of their advantages. A little bit of depth to help them get edge to edge because there is space there. And now we're getting right to the physicality. High tackle is the call. And not on the mark, so will be brought back as Billman tried to go quick. Kata tried to go quick, but instead put the ball off the pitch. It is saved in Chicago. Keeping it in pitch, that's 2 times that a penalty stays in play. And now Chicago are going to have to defend deep on their own end. How they'll choose to relieve the stress here is going to be important. Played it back. Ball finally taken off of the park. And we'll have our first line out of the day here.
Yeah, lots of physicality here first. We're seeing lots of Minnesota is really aggressive in the breakdown so far, both in their own and trying to play the counter ruck game. That's definitely going to be a big part of their strategy for this game. Haven't seen tons of breaks here yet. Both teams are still kind of feeling each other out in these first few minutes. Let's see how we can attack off this line out here.
Ball played up. Minnesota able to tap it back, keep possession, but that pressure from the Chicago side swarming on the tackle. And Minnesota has been pushed backwards just a little bit, forced, play a little bit confrontational, get back up to speed here. And plays the ball out to Dresco. Dresco running into a plethora of Chicago players, taking a big hit to the legs. As now the grind continues. Valquez had an opportunity, tried to use the fin, keeping the ball alive. And now Peterson out to the edge. Has an opportunity to give it to Beverly, says Flanagan, and he does, but the inside pass to Peterson is unable to be gathered clean. It's Flanagan and Beverly had a great connection, winger fullback, but unable to keep the play going to Peterson. We'll have a scrum down here.
Yeah, unlucky after a great play here by Minnesota in the back three. Fullback McCurry did a great job sucking in that defense and back into the wing, just wasn't able to connect to get that last pass that probably would have made the break here. So we're going to have our first scrum down of the game, and we've already seen these forwards really putting themselves into contact. So let's see how they match up against each other in our first scrum.
The speed has already picked up. Both teams are going to be flying around the field, playing fast. Kind of rugby we love to see. Referee has to stand up the first scrum of the day for safety. Looks like he's probably going to switch sides to get a handle on what happened on the ball side. That's exactly where he's going to do.
Keep that good starting position, guys, like we talked about pre-match.
Now we prepare for this scrum. And it's been so much action throughout this Thunderbird Cup. You got to love the all-star collective team, motley team, established attacks here. It's been a great weekend, Smart.
Yeah, it's been really fun so far. Started yesterday, will continue through tomorrow. So if you're a Midwest Rugby fan, then you have your plans certainly for the next 2 days all lined up.
And as Chicago players sweep around, the offloads are there. Ball trickles and hits the leg. Backwards, says the referee. One right footstep leaves the defender in the dust, but unable to keep clean possession of the ball. And just as fast, turnover made, but we're going to go to the first knock on. And what a bit of play here by both sides. Just highly contested at every ruck, highly contested at every tackle. This is going to make for a fast game here today.
Yeah, when you're playing these mixed sides, you're also playing like cross divisions. So there's guys in here who play D1, D2, D3, and D4. So you never really know what you're going to get when you get these kind of mixes. So some of these guys know how the other ones play, but the other ones really don't. So Are you going to get a big counter ruck? Are you going to get that kind of support? The first few minutes is they're feeling this stuff out, but I think they're starting to figure out what they need to do to execute their game plans that they figured out in their training sessions.
Use it now, use it!
Ball played out. Chicago is on the attack, and the defensive line speed from Minnesota could have been an issue. A forward pass, that 12-13 connection almost giving Chicago something to put on the scoreboard. But unfortunately, looked like Peterson might have just pushed it a little bit forward. We'll have a scrum to Minnesota. What a turn, because that looked like it was going to be one of those line breaks that could yield point.
Yeah, that looked pretty textbook to me, holding in that little gap, and he was all the way through. So that's just another one of the, it's like, oh, that's just a bummer. Everybody's rolling their eyes because they saw the 5 points ahead of them. But
hey, if you need to stand up to restart, let's do that, please, okay?
referee telling the front rows that if they're not settled, they should stand the whole way up. That's always true.
Guys, we're on television.
So far, he gave them a reminder, too, that he is mic'd up. So watch the language, boys, as you're trying to figure out what's going on in there.
Set!
And it looks like Minnesota will end up with the ball here. Going to the boot immediately, and that could be a 50-22. It is on if it goes off the pitch, but able to be tracked down on the back end. And you gotta love Flanagan able to get all the way across and do his proper job as a fullback, saving an opportunity. Chicago now able to release some pressure. Not too much pressure, but enough where it won't be so deep inside of the 22. That was almost magic from Beelman getting the ball off the back of that scrum and probably putting his team right on the doorstep of some points.
Yeah, that was a huge left boot. All, like you said, almost made it to the 50-22. It was kept in play, but that was able to advance this field quite a bit for them and see if they can capitalize now on this line out.
Ball up and back down, not straight is the call, looks like.
Jeff,
Options for the not straight, scrum or reline out, and scrum is the more secure option. And it looks like they're going to go to the not so secure option, but definitely an option that gives you a little bit more adaptability. Now Chicago sets themselves up for a line out now.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to go short, so they trust their attack on the run, so if they can get this in securely, they want to get the ball into the ball carrier's hands as quickly as possible.
But that results into a knock-on by Minnesota, unable to cleanly grab the ball off the top of that line out. And we'll have an opportunity for Chicago to now set up for their own scrum. I'm always a firm believer in scrum being the better option in those situations unless you have a really confident line out. Line out is the better option for attack in a lot of cases. But just to secure the ball, that has to be job number one, and unfortunately couldn't keep it clean. But now Chicago get the opportunity here to put the ball into the scrum. And it looks like they might play the tactical game themselves with so little field behind them. Ball played out clean. Locker line out the back, and that creates space around the outside. It looks like we'll have a break here. Big ruck to keep the ball secure. As Flanagan gets a break around the outside, right around the 15-meter channel line, and he still hasn't got up from that amazing carry. Slowing the ball down is Minnesota, but still something's there. Ball played it. Darrell Williams dragged and swung down. Now as they reset, Jeff Hayne able to play the ball from the right. He's getting clean ball, giving his players a really good platform to attack. Just not enough as the ball trickles on the ground and we have a random ball bounce. This could end up bad for Chicago if they don't resource this ruck, and they do just that. Able to get the ball back into play. Now they're back on the forward charge, forward march. That ball is out as it's being rolled through the tackle. Offsides is the call. Players not getting back. Heffernan
Offside. 8, the next one.
The ball carrier, and as Brown the time referee looks to go back to that offsides call. You seeing Chicago really starting to pressure up the pressure here.
8, and the next one.
Yeah, we've seen Corley here with quite a few big boots, but they're trying to, I think he's trying to keep it in, and they're going for that cross kick for the attack option, but let's listen to see what the ref has to say here.
Can you set the ball down, please? Hey, Carol. Good time as a scrap. About 11 coming for not in a good position to contest. No wrap tackle. Nothing dangerous with the landing. So I'm saying a penalty only. Do you have anything to change that? Thank you. Okay. Hey, Jeff. Okay. So, 11 came through. No real chance for a contest there. It's a collision. There's no wrap tackle. It's a penalty only.
Okay.
All right?
Understood, sir.
Just,
May I have a moment with him real quick?
huh?
Can I go chat with him real quick?
Just,
All good?
yeah, quick with 11, right? He needs to make it the contest or he needs to wait.
Contact, or- yes, understood. Hey.
Huh? No, it's in there, right? It's just a wrap tackle like that. Right? Yeah, nobody landed on their head, nothing like that.
No worries. You gotta make it look more reasonable.
All right, looks like we're getting that all cleared
Jeff,
up.
good?
Sell it. You better learn some soccer.
Terrell Williams
That's a-
being told he didn't wrap in the tackle on the collision. Referee seeing that no extra danger was afoot, no awkward landings, no head contact, no need to talk foul player mitigation, just no or expansion of the foul player
Clear, White.
protocol. Instead, just a penalty. Now Minnesota has an opportunity to set up. And, that's a wipe the sweat off your brow moment if you're Chicago. A yellow card here, red card here this early could bode badly. Terrell Williams chasing in there, Mardo.
Yeah, great deliberation by the referee. Make sure everybody was safe and good. Not malicious, but still not allowed. So allowing with the warnings for the greatest chance of
Turnover's good.
play and
First man
participation to just play the penalty and not go for the pocket so early.
And a steal by Chicago, restolen by Minnesota. We're having turnover ball after turnover ball. And now Carter Beelman, ball played out but unable to be gathered cleanly. And it's just these little moments here that's starting to really show themselves. Able to get the steal, able to get it back, says Minnesota. And right when they could have made the most of a great opportunity, maybe the defense just not prepared, unable to gather it clean, and now we're having scrums in Chicago.
Yeah, we've had a lot of set pieces in this first 15 minutes. So this is going to be a big forward game as we keep having to restart. So this will certainly, it's going to wear them down a lot. You're adding a lot of contact and a lot of exertion if you have to continue to scrum and maul and scrum and maul. So this is definitely going to test their fitness and their depth on their bench as they continue to make subs on who can outlast, because this is going to be a very physical game.
Yeah, war of attrition is definitely on fold here in Lamont, Illinois. As Hayne makes a long trek to the ball there. Ball being played and stolen in the tackle. Absolute strong muscle moment, but able to get stolen back again. The double turnovers are plentiful here. Chicago Blaze Field is now Chicago find themselves with possession, falling on the ruck and closing it off. Referee is right on top of that. Got to roll away if you fall into the ruck and not a part of it. And just to turn around again, Billman goes to the kick, re-kicked on the back end by Flanagan, and now Minnesota has taken a bit of that space for themselves now. The ball is being played to the back of the ruck. Big collisions, and players just a little bit late, but still able to preserve possession. And now Minnesota, the purple force, are going to the outside edge. Ball is kicked, and it looks like ball is re-kicked and going in to score. Mercury. Neymar showing his skills as Neymar, getting 5 points for Minnesota.
Yeah, what a great little kick and chase. the ball had been loose. He had a few opportunities earlier, but didn't have the space. So it was great to see him be able to get through. He got the bounces he needed. We're going to see this on the replay. Minnesota able to get him back. He's nice and deep. You can see he's got some speed. So once that ball is tipped, there's no offsides anymore. So both players kind of went for the kick. He was able to get it through, chasing it down, putting down the first try of this match, and he's going to go for 2 more points here for his own conversion.
I know Darrell Williams is shaking his head, had an opportunity to make the catch there, and the deflection off him led to the perfect spot for Neymar to say nay, re-kick it, take it in for the score, and that explosive play are the first points of this match. Just about 17 minutes into it, and we're already seeing some dynamic play from both sides.
Yeah, absolutely. First try could have really gone either way. Both teams have had a few half opportunities, but haven't totally put all the pieces together yet. So they're still feeling each other out. Minnesota, hopefully, they're trying to ride a little bit of a purple wave. The Minnesota U23 women won on the field right before them. So they're taking the field, and they want to represent Minnesota and say, nah, we're going to beat everybody. And we don't care who we're playing up against, but we're going to own field 2 today.
Ball played out the back, that right foot of Neymar. Darrell having this carry going into double contact and set up, and this Minnesota defense isn't prepared, but still able to make the play and take the steal. And so much can be said about the defensive effort from this Minnesota side as they continue to plunge forward. The Punga able to keep the charge going. Another charge run.
Purple.
Chicago having a player stuck. That was Verdin stuck inside of that ruck. So now they'll have a penalty advantage. Another strong carry from Minnesota. And they are definitely bringing the energy and effort here. Ball poked through, knowing that there's a penalty.
1. Rolling.
And we're going to take it back to what happened just a bit earlier. Not rolling away here.
Yeah, it looks like Minnesota's
Roll, get up on your side.
looking to slow this one down. They're having success with their forwards. And anytime, you have a set piece, not only are you setting up a stable platform, but you're sucking in your opponents and your defenders. So they want more space. They have a lot of speed. McCurry he's kicking right now. And it's going to stay in, but they want space for him to let loose on attack.
Darrell goes into contact and loses the ball. And unfortunately, Minnesota will now have another attacking opportunity right outside the 22. And a great opportunity to set up any kind of attack that they have for themselves here.
Absolutely. So sorry to both backlines who want to play a little bit more. This is a forwards game. This is our 10th scrum so far, probably. Haven't kept back, but it is just back and forth, and the defensive pressure is causing a lot of these turnovers and handling errors. So this game is definitely going to be won in the trenches here.
Hey guys, we're just going to start this one again, right? You cabbed over this way. You went a little early. Let's get this set up and get a good platform, right?
All right. Everybody getting a few pointers.
Remember, come to the mark, please.
Making sure everybody's coming in on time, coming all the way up to the mark. I know I'm guilty of it myself. Front row forwards, all forwards, always looking for that little advantage. You can get one, but you got to make sure everything's safe and stable first.
Ball played at the back of the scrum, looping pass. They're playing out with a little bit of depth just to get it to the space. Could not be handled as Neymar, the try scorer, could not get a clean handle on the ball. Ball played backwards. Now Chicago will have their own attack. Inside flip to bring the ball back to the middle of the field. And there goes the chaos. Two big bodies colliding. Clash of Titans. But we're taking it back for a penalty. There might be a bit of foul play here or something a little bit more. Let's listen in.
Falls away. Purple 7 comes, hits the former ball carrier late, no attempts to wrap.
Okay. Recommendation. Sounds like penalty only. Anything more than that?
Start with the penalty, but address it as well, yeah.
So, hey. So, yeah. Number 7 came a little too late. Put a hit on. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Right. So just late hit. Penalty only, but
I'll talk to him.
let's make sure that that's the last time that happens.
Can you talk to him?
Yeah. 7.
Giving this captain an opportunity to have a conversation.
Apparently not.
It's like they're going to put an end to any talking to the referee as well. Chicago going to the boot, putting it off of the park. Not into the brush, but enough to get past touch. Now we'll have a line out here for the Chicago side who still has to answer back from the earlier Neymar try.
Okay.
And
Right
so
there.
much is going on here, Smarto.
Yeah, there's still a lot of that war of attrition, like you said, kind of stuck in the middle of the field. You know, you go 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Kind of seems to be both teams attacking right now, struggling to put their pieces together. Hopefully, as they get playing more, we start to see them gel, and then they can execute their game plans a little bit more.
Ball played out to the end. Flanagan able to get his hands on the ball thanks to that pass from Williams. Tackle made. Chicago able to play it to their forwards yet again. Another big collision and an offload. Still in Chicago's possession as Hain gets the ball away. Ball is pulled out in the tackle. And just like that, Minnesota does it again. Able to put themselves in prime defensive moments to get the ball back. The referee's telling White to let it go. That ruck is lost.
Ben's over!
Choose to go to the kick. Just short of the fullback, but past the wingers, but able to be swooped up on that back end. And a crazy swing tackle. Ball is lost. And now Minnesota has the possession again, as we've seen knock-on advantage go by and another knock-on advantage go by. But still holding on to possession is Minnesota. And the ball is put on the boot, and it looks like it's going to fly completely off the park. And Chicago will have an opportunity to put into this next line out. And what a chaotic bit of play with both teams losing possession and gaining it back here.
Yeah, a lot of scrambling on the groundwork for sure. Really smart play by the Minnesota scrum half. Bielman to get the ball out of bounds and get this reset. Most of the distance was out of bounds, unfortunately, so we're pretty much going to start right here. Not relieving much pressure for Minnesota defensively.
Big collision as Hossington puts the shoulder down. Stops the ball carrier almost immediately. Hop step to get away from the defender, and he still has some more movement left. Dragging players off the leg, set the ball, reset, but the counter ruck might have just exposed the play. Because now Chicago has to take steps backwards to get back in possession of the ball. Beverly able to get his hands on the ball, but not enough to get away from that trouble. Now Chicago is on the forward attack. Chopping tackle, taking the prop and putting him to the ground. Now Chicago can play to the open side. Who will they choose? They keep it towards the middle of the field. Great carries by the Chicago side. And that show of the ball opened up the space. And it looks like the offload would have found a teammate, but interception as Hossington able to get the steal. Neymar plays it to the outside, and now we have a break. Freakton's back to the inside to Neymar. And now Minnesota has a broken defense going back to the open side. How will they pursue here? Crash line, taking inside the 22. White told to roll away as now they reset themselves, and Billman plays the ball out over the head of his center, but into the resting hands of Lapanga. And now, again, going back, paying it to the space, and with a fall in the reach, could have had a chance to score. DJ Martin might have got in, but he has to convey with his AR. I think that's a try. We'll hear what they talk about here.
Okay. So, do you have eyes on the grounding? Yes or no? No? Okay. I don't have a good grounding, but I'm going to go back to a penalty for a high tackle. Yep. It's purple. Thank you. Hey, Jeff, Taylor. Neither of us had a good grounding, but the ball carrier was taken high here, so it's going to be a penalty to purple for a high tackle.
I don't know if he tried. There's no one behind him when he got tackled.
No, it wasn't a probable try at that point because there was someone else in front of him.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Referee says it's not a guaranteed try there. So we're going to the high tackle, 5-meter tap. There was a player available playing defense. And immediately, Minnesota goes right into the chest of these Chicago players. No signs of slowing down or stopping. Looks like they're right at the line, if not on it. And there's another check here, another conversation.
Yeah, I have another too, so thank you.
And they're going to count that as a try. Minnesota able to respond and get points on the board after so much work to get down here. Great team try. We'll give you a number when we have an opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. After that near try from the previous, had big forward motion coming in.
Right along that line there.
And able to just kind of barrel through, and Chicago's throwing bodies, but they are unable to. So we got a prop try because everybody loves a prop try. From Kyle Hoisington from Red River Ruffians, who are supplying a lot of forwards as well as some backs as well, but all that physicality, they're really showing some skill, why they should be representing on this Minnesota side. These big guys in purple are absolutely showing off what they can do down here to the home team.
Yeah, and there's so much stability they found. Ready at the wing, find a connection with Neymar to try to score. That set up an entirely broken team to go back against for Chicago.
Taylor!
Forward pod, 8-man pod. The connection was
14.
there. And almost had an opportunity to score with DJ Martin. Penalty gives them another opportunity.
Hey, Jeff.
And they
14
convert
to
the
play in the half.
second one. And now with just about 14 minutes left in this half, so much can be said about the way Minnesota's played, but Chicago's left a lot of, food on the table. They let a lot of opportunities slide between their hands. They got to find a way to put it all together here.
Yeah, absolutely. They do have a huge mix, representatives from, looks like about 9 teams in the starting 15. So some guys are looking left, some guys are looking right, looking for the offload, and the guy you're used to playing with isn't there. So they're definitely having some communication issues. So if they start to play maybe a little more simply and talk a little bit more with one another, they can start to put their individual efforts together.
Now the smash mouth begins. Carnage on carry, but right into the waiting arms of Bissett. Able to get the steal, and Chicago choosing to go quick as Hayne goes right into a double tackle, offloads it to an unprepared forward. And just when they had an opportunity to make the most of something crazy, opportunity squandered, and now back to it on attack is Minnesota.
Yeah. CARFU definitely struggling with all those little execution pieces, but they have had a strong and stable scrum, so it's not unreasonable to, create a turnover here or to definitely put some pressure on Minnesota because they are winning in a territory way right now. So with the way that turnovers and kind of missteps have happened so far, anything can really happen here. We've got 13 minutes to go, and CARFU is one play away from being right back in this thing.
Panga off the 8-man pick, unable to gather the ball cleanly or keep the ball cleanly. It looks like we'll go back to a previous knock-on. Or actually, we'll go back to a line-out. Ball was fair, says the referee. Now we'll have a line-out.
It's white.
And it looks like Chicago will have an attacking opportunity here.
Great.
Yeah, this is definitely something they need to capitalize on here. They're going short for the line out, so you've got some extra forwards out in the attacking line, hoping for some sort of mismatch that you can create with a bigger runner running towards a back, hopefully, and find some space to move them into their 22 and attack.
And that line held up and cut off as Haynes tried to get the ball to his backs. Great defensive set here by Minnesota, disrupting that line out and able to at least slow down a set-piece attack. Chicago now running back to open play fundamentals, using those forwards, driving forward. Amazing clean out by Bassett. Was able to stay low, keep preservation on the ball so Verdict can get the pick and go and charge forward. But it might not be enough as Minnesota almost had an opportunity for the steal. Right foot step, able to shake through. Another tackle break as Beverly gets so close to the try line, doing what wingers do, creating opportunities. Verdon gets the pick, but tackle low. Momentum cut. Ball played out to the outside to Williams. Williams has the space. Does he have the speed and power? He does. As Darrell Williams, representing the Chicago Lions, Davenport University alum, getting 5 points in the first 5 for the Chicago side.
Yeah, that was some great moves and ball movement from the right side back over to the near side where we are. So you can see Corley, who's been having a great game distributing so far, finds Williams, had even one more pass available to his Chicago Lions teammate, but he said, nah, I'm going to take this one myself. So dotting down the first 5 for Chicago. That's a big confidence boost they're going to need since they had 2 unanswered already. We'll see if the kicker can put us a little bit even tighter of a game. From Scott Peterson.
Short there, as now we're at a 5-10 score line. And one thing that you can't say about team tries is when it starts on one winger and ends with the other, just let you know that there's some connection happening there. Beverly moving and grooving on that far side of the field. Balls played through the forwards, able to keep forward momentum, and by the time it popped back out, it was Darrell Williams with an opportunity to go in the score, and he was able to finish. And that was our first points for the Chicago side, as now we have Fieldman preparing, get this kickoff set and underway, get us back into action. We're right around the 10-minute mark, maybe a little less, as the ball babbles, falls around, and we're going to go to the first knock, go right past the 10-meter line. Chicago will have an opportunity here. Put the ball through for a scrum.
It's all positive play, guys. You're doing a great job. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Referee commending them. Went to receive their own kick and fumbled it forward. They knew immediately that wasn't going to fly. So getting it called back, but enjoying the aggressive play out of Minnesota. Trying to capitalize on those restarts, not having to play defense, not wanting to play defense to get the ball back in hand. That one didn't work out, but they definitely have a lot of pressure on Chicago to execute, and getting the ball back can happen quickly.
Ball played out of that scrum. A good chance to get a steal, but could not get complete control of the ball. As now the ball is being played, but unfortunately knocked on. Unable to gather cleanly inside of that ruck.
Enough. You post, you got turned, you dropped.
Yeah, there was a lot going on the ground in that one, but we're going to restart. That was a ton of work by the scrum half, Carter Beelman for Metro. We both said his name a ton. He is all over the field on attack and defense, which is exactly what you want out of a scrum half, but his effort is probably, and his pressure, forcing too difficult, too much disruption for the Chicago scrum half to get that out cleanly. Getting the ball back into Minnesota's hands.
Ball played into the scrum. And the attack is holding a fake with the eyes to put the ball through, as it looked like he was going to be able to put a player through, but he might have deceived his own man as his eyes said going out the back, but he played the short line. Now Chicago with an opportunity to set up for the scrum here.
Yeah, and time is ticking here, and we're winding down into this final 7 minutes of this first half. And Chicago with this last try, they've shown if they have a lot of speed in their back three, they're just struggling to keep the ball secure and in enough phases to get the ball out to them. If they can secure this scrum here and get this ball out and play, they need to get it out to their weapons.
And that scrum penalty is a big confidence boost for this Minnesota side. Continuing their show of go, and the step by Beelman pushing through, got tackled, and the ball dropped loose, but backwards says the referee.
Turnover's good.
Immediately Chicago is able to get the steal back, pull the ball out of the ruck, and able to carry it from it. An amazing bit of play for Chicago to return fire after what looks like a great opportunity for Minnesota. Still inside the 22, says the referee, and they choose to go all the way out to the edge to try score. Unable to gather it cleanly, and that step would have set him free if he could have just kept hands on the ball. And now Minnesota with a chance to attack in the green zone with just about 5 minutes left in this first half.
Yeah, Chicago must have heard me speaking to them. Get the ball to the fast guys. Get your ball to the fast guys. That pass was just a little too wide, just a little too far. And Williams definitely went for it. It was just right at his feet. It was too difficult to capture. So it's going to be a turnover, but not really a mistake on him. That was just not a great connection from his center. So
Crouch!
we're going to go back to a scrum here. And the Minnesota scrum has been dominating and just pushing over. So we'll see if they can set something up here off of this scrum in the last 5.
Hick off the back of the scrum. Strong carry, but dragged down by the leg. Lapanga continues to put forth ferocious energy. Crash ball by Minnesota, setting themselves up just around the 10-meter line. Chicago is playing a very forward advanced defensive line. Almost played the pass lanes there. Ball played out the back of the ruck. Unable to get to hands, but a little bit of resourcefulness to keep the ball active in play. Now they're taking their time as if it's sevens, going backwards, prodding, choosing, picking, and grooving. Will he be able to keep possession of the ball? Yes, because there is no release on the tackle. But you rarely see as Beelman taking his time trying to figure out what's going on. Gave himself no opportunity as the defense corralled him. The penalty gives Minnesota an opportunity with the line out here.
Yeah, Beelman's really pushing the pace of this Minnesota team. And on that one, he played it so quick. His teammates were not set up. They were not ready to receive the ball. So he's picking it up, and he's not hearing his teammates. He's not seeing them. So he's playing defensively to take that back step, but he doesn't want to take that contact because that kills the ball. So Minnesota really right now is just trying to keep up with him.
That's part of that team connection, trying to figure it out on the day. Figuring out mauls on the day is very important. Ball played out, and they're going right into some trouble. Big man hit up, take a low double tackle to bring him down, as now the ball's played out. And tried to spin its way away, but unable to, and that is a clean steal. Amazing for Chicago to able to get the ball back, but the ball is knocked on, and now Minnesota has a knock-on advantage and an opportunity to get some points. We're so low in time into this first half.
Whistle, guys, whistle.
And that ball would have been stolen by Chicago, but he has to go back to the first knock.
But we're going to go back for the scrum advantage.
Yeah, when that ball's loose on the ground, appreciate the referee trying to play the advantage, but
Guys,
when you go knock, you got to continue to blow it up. So, looking towards, we're at the end of getting close to the end of the first half here and into the second half. I'm sure part of the halftime speeches for both sides are going to be about ball security and making sure that when you go into contact that you're really holding onto that ball, because both teams are going for the strip almost more than they're going for the tackle. So if you're going into contact, you've got to be ready. And then as your secondary person, they need to be protecting that ball from a quick poach.
Ball played and skipped through, able to keep possession. They go right to the weak side. Just found numbers, an opportunistic moment as Noah Hillman sees the space, picks and goes on the weak side, and finds a try on the edge after moving the ball to that far side wing. A great bit of play here as we look back at it.
Absolutely. Got the scrum setting up a great base of attack here for the Minnesota back line. Great support coming in, and the 10 coming in to get the dish out to the winger, Diego Ramirez from the Rochester Rogues. He seems to be the only Rogue on the roster, or he's the... And, you know, good for him representing his own team. Sometimes you don't always want to play when you're the only guy from your club, but he's representing, and that's why he's here. So excellent work from right side to left side. Dot one down in the corner. A tough kick for McCory, but we'll see if he can slot 2 more points from the men up north.
Yeah, Hillman around the corner to McClure to find Ramirez. Ramirez making the most out of that space. He's from a team called Rogue, and he's the only one here from that side, specifically representing Rogue in a very unique way, going Rogue as the only player from his side, getting points and putting Minnesota up 10. Chicago's been able to answer back, but haven't found a way to perfect some of the little things required to really get ahead. We have about 10 seconds left here in this half. I got to ask Smarto, what's something Chicago can look forward to going into the second half to get themselves back into this matchup?
I think to keep it tight, they just really need to be worrying about that ball retention. They seem to, every chance that they have, they're losing the ball in contact and they're not supporting each other in rucks. So they haven't been able to put more than like 2 phases together, and that's making their attack really difficult. But when they got it to they did play as a whole team. We saw that work wing to wing, and that was really successful. So if they can put those pieces together, they'll definitely be putting more points on the board. If you're Minnesota walking into your halftime talk, you want to keep doing what you're doing. Your forwards are super physical. They're dominating scrums. Your scrum half is Carter Beelman, has been all over the place, and he is navigating and communicating, and that's really important in an all-star game. So I'm Angela Smarto and Lance. We're going to take a quick break here for halftime. Go get your oranges and a water break. We will be back for the Thunderbird Cup plate semifinal between Minnesota and Chicago in just a few minutes.
It's great. We all love each other. We all like hanging out at these tournaments.
Just meeting so many new people and getting to know them is just amazing. And meeting so many new friends is definitely...
Nah, one word is family. Like, you got people like you could depend on.
Probably my favorite part of playing rugby is like I can forget any problem I'm having at school or at home or just any kind of worry or burden and just like giving my all on the field. And
we all choose to come here. We don't have to be here, you know. It's just good fun coming out on a Sunday, playing, getting all together, and just great.
All right, so yeah, I think it's the fact that we can play very hard, smack each other up, boom each other, and just eat good and talk to laugh with each other after.
So, one thing that rugby's done for you?
It's brought up a lot of my confidence. I wasn't very confident in middle school, and I knew that if I wanted to become a better player, I would have to bring up my game, which I did, and I've just become so much like a better person to myself. I see myself in such a bigger light, and I'm honestly so much happier playing rugby.
I ain't gonna lie, if it wasn't for them, I don't think I would like be around here, to be honest. So I guess family.
New York Rugby Club is a great community because they put you around great people such as Alex, my coach Alex, and he teaches me more about rugby, how I can make my game better every day and elevate it to the next.
Nah, but like, you feel me? But like, I bet like you know how the hood is, so you know like it's crazy, like around shooters and all that stuff. So it's just keeping me around out from there, and then changing from like me got to worry about, oh, I can't walk here, instead of just changing my life and being positive and don't need to worry about anything that much.
I think people really underestimate women in sports. Like in my school, rugby, especially the girls' rugby, is really strong, and I don't think a lot of people expect that that women can have the sort of strength or like sort of drive that men can have in sports. And I mean, you can see today, like it's pretty much even. Women want to, you know, have an outlet for physical contact or something to blow off steam just as much as men do, and they're just as physical, and we're just as, I guess you can say, aggressive as men can be, and we can be just as successful on the rugby field. So I think it just helped me learn that whatever a man can do, I can do it. It's no worries. I can do exactly what they can do. Yeah.
Growing up in Mississippi, my prayer was, for as long as I can remember, God, use me. Use me, use this life. I don't know what the future holds for me, but I know that there is a vision for my life that is greater than my imagination can hold. Use me, use me. What would you have me to do? And that dream, that desire, that prayer brought me somehow to television.
And she's gonna learn that this life will hit you hard in the face, wait for you to get back up just so it can kick you in the stomach. But getting the wind knocked out of you is the only way to remind your lungs how much they like the taste of air.
If we want to give all of our children a foundation for their dreams and opportunities worthy of their promise, if we want to give them that sense of limitless possibility, that belief that here in America there is always something better out there if you're willing to work for it, then we must work like never before.
You might never fail on the scale I did, but some failure in life is inevitable. It is impossible to live without failing at something, unless you live so cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all, in which case you fail by default.
Movements for peace when all seems lost. Together, I do believe it is part of the American mission to ensure that people everywhere, women and men alike, finally have the opportunity to live up to their own God-given potential.
It's huge. There's limitations. There's been greater limitations before my involvement, which has stopped some athletes from being able to chase their dreams and having to go and fulfill a 9-to-5 job just to live, really.
So in life, you know, there are moments when you stop and ask yourself, how did I get here?
Welcome back to the Thunderbird Cup here at Chicago Blaze Complex in Lamont, Illinois. We are watching Minnesota battle against Chicago Area Rugby Union, holding a 15-5 lead. It's smarter. Both teams have been bringing the noise. Let's go over some of these tries.
Yeah, first try of the day, after a little chippy kick to himself, Neymar McCrory from Minnesota. Was great. And really physical play from Minnesota all day. And that's how you're going to see this big prop try just barrel on through, which is well earned after they had another one just called back before that. But Chicago was not outdone, and they were able to get one out to the wing for Darrell Williams. And he was able to dot down as the lone try scorer for Chicago. And right now the score stands at 15-5 with no conversions made. So there's plenty of opportunity for Chicago to catch up, but also Minnesota can very quickly blow this thing wide open.
As the kickoff goes, Chicago able to receive the ball cleanly, and we're back on the attack. Looks like the ball could have been stolen. Referee says Chicago ball, play on. The diving hit, able to take out the legs of that ball carrier. Chicago forced to make a decision, putting the ball on the boot. Takes a bounce, goes deeper and deeper into their own end. This is a 50-22 if it goes out of bounds. Somehow lives the pressure, fakes the offload, is able to clear his lines in what looked like would have been a bad moment for this Minnesota side. Now the kick into open space, and it looks like they'll have a walk-in try, but able to get all the way across, but not rolling away could be an issue here. No real chance to get out of that ruck. They're inside of the 5 meter. Chicago has a chance to score to open this second half. And what a momentum swing if they do. Short, says the referee. They go back to the forwards. Big hit up as all of the forwards collide just short of the try line. Hain looking for an opportunity, where to go. They throw the ball wide to the previous try scorer, and he gets his second of the day. Diving in, sliding in as Darrell Williams finishes off what looks like could have been calamity for this Minnesota side. Able to get the ball back, and Chicago gets on the board.
Yeah, very lucky for Chicago. After that big boot, they were able to work all the way across and back. But again, finding success on the wings, on the edges. On the other wing is how they sucked in the whole the whole Minnesota defense to them, providing that space out on the wing. An excellent vision by the fly half, Nolan Corley, from the Chicago Rugby Club. That huge skip pass out to the wing, saw him out there wide open. And now we're only at a 5-point diff, and let's see if Chicago can get 2 more on the board. A difficult kick from the edge. So it's not going to go through, but 15-10 is a quick try is a great way to start off a second half.
Yeah, have him check in with them.
Chicago.
Have him check in with them.
Able to start with the ball, put the ball down the field, and the situation that happened on that back end almost was calamity. The kick wasn't great, and that gave another opportunity Chicago to have a shot going in the score. So much they could be happy for. They're able to get that try within 2 minutes of halftime. Ball played backwards, says the referee. Now Chicago is back on the tactic. They go to that tactical kick, play it to the corners. The fullback isn't going to take it on the full. That is always an option. They choose to go to the boot here, and they go right down the middle of the field. Takes a happy bounce, but able to be secured by Neymar. Neymar going to choose to go to the up and under. That stays on the pitch. Gathered around the 10-meter line. One fake, able to get from one defender, but not two. Able to get away from 2 defenders, but not 3. Now Chicago has an opportunity to attack right around the 10-meter line. They go right to the boot again. Same to the middle of the field. Minnesota has resourced. They found people to collect with. While running, pointing to where he wants support to be, runs in the opposite direction, but still able to keep ball retained. As now it's Minnesota's time. Billman plays it out. Ball played to the 8, who's been bringing absolute calamity to this defensive line structure. Offload in the tackle. An advantage call, but over, says the referee. If that goes out of bounds in any way, it will be Chicago's ball again. Takes an unhappy bounce. Ball is played to the middle of the field. There's no one there after the hit. Reed recovers it. Grabbed and grappled around the try line. The referee's going to have to make a very high-impact decision here as teams are pushing into that ruck. Minnesota looks like they'll keep possession. They're forced to play it from underneath their own post a drag and drive to get them outside, but nope.
It was brought back.
Down.
5-meter scrum.
Down inside of the try zone by Minnesota. Minnesota is being ran off the ball, and the tactical kicking is causing so many problems for them, as now Chicago has a 5-meter scrum, and the referee stops clock.
Absolutely. The tactical kicking game really coming through. Fly half Nolan Corley. Now that they're seeing that they have the success, and that's definitely advantage that we've seen from Chicago over Minnesota, had the huge boot, but for the first time we really saw Jeff Hain open up his own stride, do the big chase down and kick, and really cause all that damage. Without his individual early effort, we wouldn't be in a position right now with a Chicago scrum on the 5.
We're stopped for a moment.
Time is off right now. Looks like there was an injury off camera that they're dealing with now, and we're figuring out a substitution. Appears to be a forward. This is a huge moment for both teams that are only separated by one score.
Sure, yeah. Hey, this guy
As we see Diego Ramirez, who did some good things earlier in this matchup, taking his leave, limping off the field. A Warriors walk-off. Medical team supporting, getting him off the field. We want to send a big get well, not only to him, but a few of the other players who's been hurt throughout the weekend. Game earlier today had to be cut short due to injury, and we want to just send our well wishes to all those who put their body on the line for the game we all love.
He's coming, right?
The danger element is always a part of it. Unfortunate, but big appreciation to all the players here at Thunderbird Cup weekend. Now Minnesota has replaced their winger with a hooker, which you don't see too often. But this is All-Star weekend. Anything can happen. Smarto as now Chicago gets ready for the put. Minnesota's still in danger. As much as we would like to keep it lighthearted and fluffy, Minnesota still has a job to do, because one errant mistake and they can lose the lead that they had going into halftime. We're only 5 minutes into the second half. The ball is played into that scrum.
Out purple, out and around.
Tackled down almost immediately before he can even get any forward progress. Looking for somewhere to go. Left, right, left, right. Big booming run as Peterson tries to run over the top of one of these Minnesota players. Hop step, it could get him through. He tries to weasel in, and he does. Finnegan sneaking underneath multiple defenders and craftily gets the ball on the ground. And that 5 points gives Chicago area the tie and a chance for the lead here.
Absolutely. Minnesota took the lead early, but Chicago's finally starting to start their stride. Probably had a little bit of juice happening in the halftime show, so they were able to put some energy in. This is their second try in the first 5 minutes. Great forward pressure, and fullback Liam Finnegan able to dot it over for the final 5, and we're pretty close to the posts. So we'll see if they can actually take the lead for the first time in this game, if they can successfully convert this conversion kick. Oh, bank's not open on Saturday, so we're going to stay tied 15-15 right now. And with some substitutions and some things happening, it's really anybody's ball game. I do think, Lance, the injured player was a 17, not 11. Their numbers are really hard to read. Both
really,
teams.
that was 17, not 11?
Thank you.
Yeah.
So it was Nate Walsh.
I know Diego Ramirez has great flow. He has the hair. But Nate Walsh, or Nate Welsh, excuse me, he had a scrum cap. So I was like, oh, he's the front row sub, and that's why they needed a front row sub. But jersey designers and sometimes kit designers don't always think like these numbers will be really hard to read. So
no one thinks of the commentators when it's time for rugby. As the ball
Nobody
is kicked
cares.
off, and Chicago is back on attack. Offload in the tackle, and Chicago are off and away with no attempts to slow down. Jake Lux runs right into a fullback, still able to keep possession as he pops the ball from the ground, giving Spencer Cameron an opportunity to get in this game. Ball played out wide, off the back shoulder. Play on, says referee. Devin Krister grabbed up but not brought down as he recovers that loose ball. And again, Payne is able to play it quickly, lift it in the tackle, and boom, that is a penalty every single time. And whether it escalate further is in question. Referee says no, but Chicago now has opportunity to get 3 points, or they choose to go to the sideline. There's so many questions to ask. Haynes sets up, put the ball off the park here.
Great little trickery. I think we all thought they were going for touch, but we're going right into the quick tap and playing from the middle.
And diving through, Vasquez almost getting all the way through, but able to resource the ball. And 2 tries on the day, able to get the offload on his way down. Multiple Minnesota defenders are getting out there, but the awareness to fall and pick back up. Spencer Cameron comes into the game and makes a direct impact almost immediately. Let the gray hair flow and the 5 points go. Miss Cameron.
Sometimes you need that experience to carry you through. From Spencer Cameron, coming off the bench, making a huge impact, taking Chicago into this first lead. Let's check this out. After the great little mind trick from the scrum half, they were looking for Darrell Williams again, but he's got wrapped up. A great support coming all the way around. And again, that's the experience. You're not held. You're close to the try line. Pick that ball up and go, and you lunge forward through. So in the last 7 minutes, this game dynamic has changed completely. So I don't know if everybody got a Red Bull, if everybody got a hug and a compliment. Whatever's happening on the Chicago sideline, I want to be a part of, because their energy has just completely gone through the roof, and they've decided, you know what? Let's wake up a little bit here and let's send these boys home. This is our home field. And now they're starting to play a little bit like that.
And they definitely starting to show a little bit of speed, collection, and a few other things that they should be happy about as they rang off multiple tries to take this lead, to go from a 10-point deficit to a 5-point lead in less than 10 minutes into the half. Just shows that halftime speech was so necessary. As the ball hits the ground and Williams is forced to backpedal to get the ball back, shaking 1, shaking 2, moving and breaking tackles. Williams refuses to fall for anyone, but that might be enough to lose the ball. Referee says no, play on. High tackle contact. Let's see if the referee calls it. Maybe not the right angle to make that discernment. And now Chicago is playing the ball to the far side, choosing to go to the boot. And that ball hangs, caught over the shoulder by Beelman. And Beelman might have ran out of space, but looks to go the opposite way, and he's found something. And now Minnesota is off and running, choosing to run right into the chest. It's Evan, and still on his feet, still grinding, still moving, still rolling. Referee says tackle's made. And now Beelman plays the ball from the base of the ruck. The pressure is there almost immediately. And again, Noah Hillman able to gather the ball from that offload. But the pressure is there, and the ball is taken. No one there to ruck, as now Krister pulls the ball out of the fray, and away he goes. Chicago on the front foot, able to attack. Options left or right, fakes the inside pass. Nothing's there, though. Ruck form, says the referee. Now Chicago gets to play all the way out to try score with a left foot step, a burst of speed. The gray man has a way man, and he is moving, bringing the Chicago team deep inside of the 22. Can they make the most of it? Able to pull the ball out in a lot of chaos and play it outside, but still cannot finish on the back end, and Minnesota has forced a turnover. Beelman turns around and tries to make it a foot race, but Williams able to make the tackle. No one's there to support the defensive support as the offload goes away, and Minnesota answers back after a rally of tries for the Chicago side, as Nate Helfka able to get in the Red River Ruffian, roughing his way into the try zone and able to tie it up under the sticks. Minnesota might be able to take the lead back here.
Absolutely. What a burst of energy that has come into this game. So got the penalty deep. Beelman takes off and caught quickly by the winger, but great kind of strategy. He knew he was going to get tackled, but he took the big slide. And no defense to support anybody. But I will say, for number 4, Nate, the Viking every Minnesota team has one guy with long Viking hair and a braid. So that's their guy, which I appreciate. First conversion made. But he's been all over the field today. I've seen him make 10, 15-meter spin passes. He's been involved in attack and on defense, not to mention that this Minnesota scrum has been really dominant. So everybody likes a prop try. I think a prop can also appreciate a lock try. And especially, that's not a try that a lock's supposed to make after a 40-meter break from your scrum half. So he saw the winger was out there, but the only other guy there was him. He's been working really hard today to stay in the mix, so that's great that he could get 5 of his own.
And immediately after what looks like Chicago having all the forward momentum, all the attacking stance and platform, one turnover and a quick tap, and immediately they are on the back foot and giving up points. 2 points separate Minnesota and Chicago, which has been an evenly back and forth matchup, as now Chicago gets themselves set up defensively. Minnesota is back on attack here inside their own 22. Big collisions right around the center line of the field. Billman's looking for the option. Ball's taken back into the 22, says the referee.
Inside, no way. Use it.
Ball played wide, and it could be a good moment to attack. Big man able to get the offload away. A spin and grin and able to get down, resource the ball. Minnesota has set the platform for themselves to attack, as Lapunga able to get loose and loose again, gets the offload from his back, but the next offload is unable to find hand. Now Chicago is back on attack, but the steal by Beal, he is continuing to showcase himself. The step, the double step, grab from behind with multiple defenders out of the way, and the offload able to give Noah Hillman a chance to set back up. Hillman is back on the ball again, plays it out wide, skips multiple players, and plays it to the farthest. Minnesota resource to ruck. Hillman, I know he's tired having to go ruck to ruck to ruck
Scrum
to
advantage.
ruck, but he has been putting an absolute forward stamp on this game. As now DJ Martin is tackled, ball played back. Hillman plays it out. Hernandez driving forward with the help of Evan, but can't get through. Billman again has players around his legs, decides to go back to that right-hand side where there's space. The offload was there, but unable to be gathered cleanly. Backwards, says the referee. Another offload. And again, referee's caught up in the middle of it. Can he get out of there? He does. Got to keep the ref safe, as now Billman plays it out wide. And there's space. There has to be space on this bottom half. But still, Minnesota keeps the ball going to Neymar. The earlier try scored. He's double tackled just short of the 5-meter line. Players are getting around, and there's space on this short side. Can they find someone? Double tackle. And the referee is going to call. Looks like he might be calling a high tackle. That was a very strong collision.
Take a breath. Take a breath. Set the ball down there. Give me a moment, please. All right. So, did you see white 17 after the whistle? Yes. Strike the player? Where does the strike land? Upper arm. Was it a closed fist or was it open hand? Slaps. Thank you. Okay. Hey, Jeff. Jeff, I need you. I need number 17. Yeah, Devin. Okay.
There's some mitigation in that contact.
You're under a penalty advantage against you for offsides.
Okay.
And then 17 came in with a loaded shoulder, did not make head contact, so we're still at penalty only. After the whistle, 17 had an open palm slap on a player that was down.
What? Hey, I'll talk.
So it's an open palm slap. Okay. So we're still at penalty only. The 17 is on official warning.
Okay.
And if I call his number again, he's going to the bin.
Don't say anything. Don't slap anyone's ass. Got it. Understood.
Okay. So we're going to restart the penalty to purple, and you need to up your discipline here in the 22.
So Devin makes the tackle. Could it be seen as high? They review it, have a conversation with the AR, but he slaps another player on the bottom who was on the ground, whether it was antagonistic.
Take your pick here or about 15 feet inside
I'm sorry, referee's still talking.
Okay.
Whether it was malicious,
No, it's right in between the hashes here.
whether it was malicious or antagonistic, it's clearly meant to be antagonistic, not to harm or put anybody in danger. But it is a slap. Technically, it's still contact. Technically, so the referee goes to gives that its appropriate weight. But now Krister is on his final warning, and the power he brought into that tackle was ferocious. The power he brought into that slap was also ferocious, enough to get him a penalty. As now Minnesota starts play again. And the tackle made just short of the try line. You got to protect those A-gaps. And that's the most dangerous place. As now we have another collision. Big carry by Kyle Hussington. And they're just short of the try line. Pick and go by Nate Halaka. If I said that right. Halafka. And ball is played out wide, zipping pass all the way to the edge. There is space and numbers. Has to be handled cleanly, and it is. And going in to score is Minnesota, countering back to the counters, as now they hold a very strong lead as Evan Armanrila. Excuse me. I might have it wrong on mine, but Minnesota able to get those points. And that was a well-worked try, so close to the try line here.
Yeah, absolutely. Minnesota really needing to reestablish this lead after having some back and forth. So great. They had that pick and go, really sucking in that Chicago defense, and great discipline by the Minnesota attack to keep their width as long as they did. And that was making it able for them to move it wide and have that corner try, setting up a difficult kick. But in this game that's so tight, you got to get all of these points that you can. So, and again, we're seeing a lot of impact off the bench. So that is Ivan Armarola from St. Paul coming in, representing the Jazz Pigs. One of the better club names, I think, personally,
21
in the Midwest. What's a Jazz Pig? I'd love to have that conversation, but this is exciting stuff. So that's going to extend it to a full try lead 27, since we haven't had tons of conversion kicks made today, but that is going to make a big difference to go from 5 to a 7-point lead as we're hitting that 60-minute mark, 20 minutes to go. This is still just a one-score game, and it's going to go back and forth all the way through here.
As the kickoff brings us back, 20 minutes left. Has been said, backwards on that contact. And now it looks like Minnesota is going to play confrontational. 2 big carries, bruising run by DJ Martin. And Minnesota is able to keep possession of the ball here. He was unrelenting on that hit. And again, they choose to go to the forwards. Lorenzo Hernandez able to charge forward. The defensive line speed from Chicago almost playing the passing lane. High contact.
Use it!
But still ball plays in. As now Minnesota has an opportunity to go wide and just cutting the space. Trying to play those lines. Leaves an open gap for Minnesota. And they play it all the way to the edge. Offloads galore. Can they make something from this? As a tackle is made, there's a player in the ruck near it. He has to roll away. It looks like he's out of the way. Use it, says the referee. Now Minnesota has a chance to attack after flipping the field on that long run. The backs have really been creating opportunities for themselves for Minnesota. The space is on the bottom of your screen. Running back into the chaos. Does he have enough to get away? But that ball is stolen. But no. They go backwards to an earlier penalty. Might be offsides here.
20. 20, late hit.
Oh, late hit by Thomas Pinnell.
Shot.
And they're gonna go to the point. They're gonna go to the post for points. And they might get that 10-point lead that they had heading into halftime right here.
Yeah, this is a really big moment for Minnesota. Nobody's been ahead by more than one score the whole game. So if you get this 3, you're officially extending that to that 2-score lead. And as time is ticking away, that's really crucial. So we're going to have an attempt here by McCory. Said his name a lot today. So if he makes it, there'll be no water break. And if he misses and it's in, then we're live. All right. That's going to extend that lead. That's a great tactical decision, putting them up 30-20. 17 minutes approximately left. Remember, folks, the time you see is not the official time, and we have had some stoppages and such, but looks like we got a little bit of a bloody nose out here on the wing, but Minnesota is putting their body on the line because they want to be the second Minnesotan team to win on this field today. U23 women won previously.
I know, yeah, right.
And CARFU is still desperately trying to protect their home field advantage here in Lamont.
Ball played into the sky, and now Minnesota back on attack. The physicality, as we've been talking about, has been a very, very palatable part of this matchup. I'm not sure if these teams like each other the way they've been hitting. Knocked backwards by the Chicago team. They were able to keep possession. That left foot steps, freeze them, and we might have an opportunity for Leo Finnegan to go in the corner. He might be in. Referee flag goes up, so that is no try by the AR. He was so far chasing that it's hard to say whether or not he'll give a call. Let's listen to the referee call.
So I have a grounding. In spite of the foul play, do you have touch before grounding?
I do have touch before.
Touch before grounding? Yes. Okay, so we're going to go to the penalty for high tackle, but because it pushes it into the try, that's going to be a penalty try. Give a number then for the high tackle.
It was, I believe it was 15 coming across.
15? Okay.
And a penalty try, which means there will be a yellow card accompanying this decision.
Any number 15. Okay, so we have an active foul play and the act of scoring. The foul play tackle pushed the player into touch before the grounding happened. So we have a penalty try. The yellow card 15 for the dangerous play. There's a high tackle. He came around high in the act of scoring.
Good close. He dove and I pushed him. Yeah.
He came around and wrapped. It's a high tackle. Okay, you're off.
And then you see the player try to say, I pushed him. Vision is history because he was charging in, trying to make the tackle to keep him out. But Liam Finnegan showing that he's in again. Let's go over this play smarter. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a great call by the referees. Again, great break by Finnegan, going for his second try. And McCory was doing everything he could to prevent that try. When somebody starts to make that try dive, it's really difficult to make that contact appropriate, right? It's really hard to get they're already getting lower, and you're already on top of them. So that's a really difficult play to make. So I don't think he was trying to rip his head off or anything like that. That's just the only really opportunity he had. So it's great. Also, shout out to the referees crew. It's great to have qualified referees that are mic'd up. They're able to have that. And of course, it seemed like they had a lot of help from many unofficial referees who are hanging around the tri-zone. Everybody giving their take as well. But we're back to a one-score game. That took 1 minute. So who knows what's going to happen next year.
Right, in no time at all, the rivalry is real. Chicago now with ball in hand. Finnegan putting them up or closer. And now Chicago continues to move around this near side. Chance to make the offload, opting to take it in. Keep everything contained as Hayne pushes the ball into the center of the field. Forwards are going right into the collision. No release, says the referee. They're not rolling away, says the referee. Tapped by Hain, and they go quick again. Peterson chopped down on the tackle right in front of your camera, knocked us off of focus and back into this action. As now Chicago pushing themselves closer around the 22. Confrontational in approach, catching the ball so close to that defensive line, forcing these defenders to make decisions. Ball hits the ground, played to keep active. And the man in the conversation earlier going in the score is putting players on the ground as Krister bends multiple players to his wheel. Hain having to dig the ball out just a little bit. Played the ball to Corley. Corley plays it and moves the ball to the space. The way that Chicago has orchestrated this attack here, this phase build-up here is one of the best of the day. The Finn is there, over the top of the defender. Not releasing, could be called. And it should be. Yeah, not releasing should be the call, and the referee is right on top of it. I think that's the appropriate call here. And now we have a 5-meter penalty, and they go quick. Give the ball to 1-6, Joshua Williamson. Driven back by multiple defenders. Laponga is in the middle of that for Minnesota to dispel that ball carrier. Big booming hit. These guys are bringing the noise as Scott Peterson runs into some brick walls. Hain is so close, and he gets it down. Opportunistic moment from Jeff Hain, and Hain brings the pain, and Chicago is back in the lead, responding with 2 quick tries. What a seesaw battle we are watching here, Smarto.
Absolutely. That's going to be our 4th lead change of the game. So lots of battles going on the ground here. A great recognition by the scrum half. That's Jeff Hain. He's done so much work today. It's nice that he can get a try under his belt, but he's been all over the place, and he's definitely a huge part of the success of this Chicago team in the second half, who really started to put some pieces together where they struggled in the first half. So that's putting them in the lead, and we're going to see if they can extend it to 4. And that's going to be called up and through by our assistant referees. So it's 34-30, but
13 and a half.
Says 13 and a half minutes to go. So this clock is a little bit ahead of what the referee says. There has been some talks and penalties and injuries and things like that. Looks like we were able to reset ours to get a little bit closer. But this is anybody's ball games. Both scrum halves on both sides of the ball working really instrumentally to make sure their attacks are coming all the way through, and nobody is rolling over the deeper and deeper we get into this game.
They're ensuring that all the substitution movements are legal.
And now we are at 34-30. Chicago recapturing the lead with Minnesota having that yellow card. So vital. And that kickoff perfectly placed for Minnesota to get the ball back, and Chicago unable to keep it in bounds and play it.
Here you are.
So now Minnesota with a chance to respond. And with the points being at 4, tries by any team could change the complexity completely. One try by Minnesota, they're back in the lead. A penalty isn't enough. And, man, you just got to love the energy that's happening towards the back end of this game as now Minnesota sets themselves up for the line-out, pushed over the top. And now we'll have Chicago with a chance to clear their lines. I wonder if they'll go back to the kicking, try to play a little bit more tactically now that they had that player advantage, or will they play ball in hand and use the space on the field? Hit in the tackle, unable to gather cleanly, knocked backwards, says the referee, as they continue to play. Substitutions are now establishing themselves in this game. As big man Laponga getting a hold of the ball carrier, forcing him right to the ground. The try scorer on immediate entry into this match is now putting his stamp on the game, spinning and bending, trying to get through. Ball played backwards, going to that kick. Is now Minnesota choosing to go to the middle as a counterattack option, but Chicago has shut the door. It looks like we'll have a tackle right around the center line in midfield. The counter ruck is heavy, and look at the pesky defense from Chicago. But how do you disrupt the pesky defense? You finesse, kicked over the top, could have been gathered cleanly, and it would have been a great moment for Carter Billman, who's been doing so much today, but unable to gather cleanly. Now Chicago had the scrum down.
Yeah, that was a great idea. He was under a ton of pressure coming through the counter ruck and defense right off the edges. So him able to go to the foot and create a little space for himself. And he knew what he was doing. His teammates weren't even ready for it. He went to go for it, but that is always a tough pickup. That was a pretty low ball. So, that's a no harm, no foul kind of situation. Great idea. Unfortunate that it wasn't able to connect. But putting the ball back in Chicago's hands while they maintain this lead is going to be really dangerous.
Set!
And the drive from this Minnesota scrum completely demolishes Chicago. I mean, we haven't seen a demolition of Chicago that strong since the Fires. As that scrum completely pours over the Chicago area team. And now Minnesota, with great momentum and a line out inside the 22, has a chance to put points on the board and get the lead back after Chicago answers with 2 straight.
Yeah, this has been a place where Minnesota has just dominated all day. And if you don't know what a dominant scrum looks like, that's what a dominant scrum looks like. They just absolutely walked over that ball and just pushed them all the way through. So great work by these forwards. They're able to get this line out in and see if they can capture the lead.
They were set up for the maul, but the ball falls out. So unfortunately, unable to keep it established. One fin to keep a player away, says Artie Archton. An unbelievable bit of play. And Minnesota couldn't convert and make things work. Diving over is the call. So now Chicago will get the ball back.
He lost his feet first, then it came from the side.
I love having the microphones on the ref. It's such a great insight into the game, especially if you're new to the game. Maybe you're watching, maybe this is your cousin or a coworker, maybe your husband or your son. We don't know. But being able to listen into the referee's explanation as to why the whistle is being called and all that stuff, that's such a great thing for the fan opportunities and even for us as commentators to know what's going on.
And I believe that was Billman again putting his stamp with the steps, stepping multiple defenders. He has been working absolutely tirelessly in this match. And the quick tap, finding the space, but unable to get all the way through was DJ Martin. Maybe they weren't back 10. Referee says it is fine. As now Minnesota continues to surge forward. This has to work out for them. We're getting down to the back end of this game, and they have to find a way to get points. Billman is just so smooth, picking his moments, unable to keep clean grapple the ball, but the ball knocks as the referee. I'm not sure if that went forward out of his hands, but unfortunately for Minnesota, they turn the ball over just outside the 22. It was right around 5.5 minutes to go in this game.
Yeah, a tough call, but giving an opportunity to your forwards to keep scrumming the way they're scrumming isn't necessarily a bad thing either. So if the forwards can show up again for Billman the way that he's been showing up for his team all day today, they can get the ball back in hand here, and they have great field possession if they can.
Fine.
Great little sportsmanship moment between our scrum halves here. A little high five.
Have it, please.
Ball played into this scrum. Another almost catastrophic scrum for Chicago. That ball played into the air, and the last thing you want with exposed ribs is Lapunga lurking, putting the absolute throttle on Artie Archton. And because that ball was going forward by Purple as it became unplayable, Minnesota will get possession of the ball smarto. This is a nightmare scenario.
Went down.
Yeah, that's definitely not the pass you want to be receiving there. So Jeff kind of dishing a little bit of hope out to the 13. And when you're catching, that's why they're called hospital passes, folks. When you're catching that ball over your head, you're leaving your whole body exposed. And he gets crushed in his ribs. But then that ball gets killed in that tackle contest here. So since it was brought in by Chicago, then that ball gets turned over for the not release to Minnesota. So we got a new scrum half here, so either Bielman is out through sub or maybe he was injured, but with 5 minutes to go, we have a new captain in charge, Francis Kaunda from the Eastside Banshees, and he has huge shoes to fill to try and lead Minnesota back into the lead to win this game.
Yeah, the way Bielman was playing, he definitely has some big shoes to fill. But let's see what they make of it. Looking right, looking left, nothing there, spinning around, and it might have created just enough space for Neymar to get active into this match. But because he was so isolated, scrum half is forced to be in the action. Now Minnesota plays it out wide, looking for opportunity. That can be considered a jump, and the referee will consider that a jump, even though he was tackled cleanly. He tried to hurdle, and that is dangerous play. Penalty given for Chicago, and just when it looks like they had a great opportunity, one small mistake gives Chicago a chance to clear their lines and get space.
That ball stays in. It's hard to see with the camera angle, but Chicago's retaining this ball in play.
And that was an opportunity for Minnesota to get the ball back with little time left. The kick away by Chicago wouldn't be the strategy I employ on short time, but they are in the lead. They are doing something right. And a chance to get a steal here. Referee says it is fine. So Minnesota, with getting the ball back, lose it almost immediately. The counter ruck for sure is there. He came in from an onside position. So Lapunga gets the ball back after losing the ball. And the new scrum half injection, trying to put his name and stamp on the map on this game. That is a maul. They do not have to release, and Chicago will get the ball back here potentially.
And Purple took it down.
Actually, they don't. Minnesota able to get it out of the maul, and they have a chance. High tackle advantage will be played here as Nate Halavka is grabbed around the neck, and we'll go back to that high tackle. Minnesota has the forward momentum. Do they go quick or do they go somewhere else? They go to the quick option as Evan kicks the ball, jukes one, jukes two, but not three. Ball stolen almost immediately. Hayne is a thorn in the side of this Minnesota team, as now Minnesota has an opportunity to get the ball back after it is kicked by Spencer Cameron. Multiple players from Minnesota having a chance to convene at the ball. Tried to go goosey, but the goose was cooked. Tackled immediately. Now Minnesota has to find a way to get active in this game, get back down the field. Ball played off the ground, gathered cleanly by Evan, played out in the space, played to the wide channels. Could have made an extra pass, but defensive line pressure just too much. Ball picked up because there was no ruck to contest. Player lifted and drawn to the ground as Fred DeHodge is lifted and dropped, but he'll be fine. Minnesota, with less than a minute left, have to find a way to get on the board. This is turning into a next level rugby classic here, Smarto.
Yeah, this is definitely going to go all the way down to the wire, which we kind of anticipated in the first 10 minutes of this game. But now that we're really down to it, you can see the fitness, the depth of the bench. These guys are exhausted. It's been back and forth the whole time. So you might make a physical mistake. You could make a mental mistake,
21.
What are you doing?
Yeah. Okay. So that's where we're at now. They know that time is running out, and so we're kind of seeing defense is a little broken, and so is attack. But
this could be it. Going in the score, and a double kick puts Minnesota up with no time left, and that could be the exclamation point that wins the game. Jacob Freetic could have taken the game.
How much left, sir?
150.
And it's a minute 50 left. That almost was catastrophic. They need to take as much time on this kick as possible. An amazing penalty advantage was there, and they still find a way to get in. Smarter, walk us through this.
So you're going to see the fullback. McCory been saying his name all day. He got a little break after his yellow card, but he made an excellent decision to do the kick. Chicago really didn't have the gas, and they didn't have anybody playing deep, so it became a foot race. And Jacob Feitig, he was there and he still had the juice left in his legs. So that got him to do the 5 down, and that's putting them ahead by 1 with a really difficult conversion, unable to extend it. But we're in this last minute of play.
1 minute!
1 minute called officially by the referee.
Yep.
This game is not over. You can see how quickly both teams can score, and one quick tap penalty, one mistake.
35,
Honestly,
34.
if Chicago gets close enough, they have great kickers, and they could go for a penalty kick, and that could be the end. So this is going to be a huge
option. Scrum option.
Scrum option from Minnesota. Oh man, that if we're in our last play moment here, this could be the end as we start with a scrum center, which has been all Minnesota all day here.
Minnesota. All
80
Minnesota.
minutes.
They've controlled the scrum, forcing penalties earlier in this half. I mean, I kind of put it to the devastation of 1871.
Yes.
I would like to not hold that same regard, and hopefully Minnesota can hold fort. Ball played, tackle made around that outside edge. And it looks like Chicago has gotten the ball back. Oh my goodness, this has turned into an absolute gem of a game. Ball played offload, but couldn't be held properly, and that ball will be knocked on. And with the final whistle, we have seen Minnesota take the game with absolutely short time, taking a 35-34 win over the Chicago Area Rugby Union. That is Thunderbird Cup action, and we will be right back here in Lamont, Illinois for the rest of Saturday's action. See you in a bit.
Growing up in Mississippi, my prayer was, for as long as I can remember, God, use me. Use me, use this life. I don't know what the future holds for me, but I know that there is a vision for my life that is greater than my imagination can hold. Use me, use me. What would you have me to do? And that dream, that desire, that prayer brought me something.